What's going on, guys? Bama's Outdoors back with you again today. We're sitting here in the camper and I'm going to answer a question, or actually demonstrate something that one of my subscribers asked me to do, and that is, how do you rig a Texas rig? And everyone knows, I think, the Texas rig is probably the most used rig out there, and it's probably one of the oldest rigs. But he noticed, I guess, in my videos that I do use a lot of plastic baits. And yes, I do use the Texas rig quite often, depending on the circumstances. So, I was going to show you guys today how to rig, and I also talk about how to fish the Texas rig. When I first start off, I always try to put a bobber stopper on my line, and I'll tell you why I do that here in just a couple minutes. Then I'll get a bullet weight, depending on the circumstances. You know, this is a little guy here. There may be circumstances when you need to put a heavy one on there to get flat on the bottom and you know, stick down there a lot closer. So this is what I'm going to put on today. And make sure you always put the pointed end on the line first. This is just for those of you who do not know how to fish a Texas rig. So always put that pointed end on first. And we will try to do that. You'll have to excuse me, the lighting is not real good in here. And I know there's some of you out there might actually be saying, well, man, if you take those sunglasses off, you might be able to see better. Well, actually, these sunglasses that I wear in all my videos and just about all the time are actually prescription glasses. They're actually bifocal, and they're also polarized because I have light sensitivity. So I don't wear them to look cool. I wear them because without them, I'm basically, I'll just walk into a wall almost. I mean, it's that bad. So I really need them on. So that's why I always, whenever you see me in my videos, I wear these glasses. It's not to look cool. It's just because I have to have them to see. And plus, they make me be able to see the fish a lot better when I'm fishing because they're polarized. So thought I'd go ahead and get that out there. But I'd understand if some of y'all thought that. So what I did is I put my bullet weight on, and now I'm going to tie my hook on. And about 75% of the time when I fish, I always use the Palomar knot. There are some situations where I like to use like a cinch knot and things like that. Sometimes I like to use a cinch knot on a jig. I like to use a cinch knot on a spinnerbait. I like to use a cinch knot on a chatterbait. And there's other things that I use it on, but 99% of the time I'll always use a Palomar knot. And when I'm Texas rigging, that's usually what I always use. And this is a 2/0 wide gap. You know, it really depends on what size of plastic worm or any kind of plastic that you're using. If you're using something with a thick body, you may want to get up into the 3/0 and the 4/0. And there's occasions where I use a 4/0, but the majority of the time I stick with a 3/0. But today I'm using a 2/0 because I'm going to be using one of these little Fat Daddies. Yeah, Fat Baby Finesse Worms by KVD. They're not that thick, so there's no use in putting one of those big giant 3 or 4/0s on there. So you guys give me just a second, and I will tie a Palomar knot if I can see. I hope everyone's having a good day out there, and if you don't mind, I really would be grateful if you guys would give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, because your support is so important to the channel. You know, the more likes we get, the more likes that we get, the more subscribers we get. That helps get the videos out there to the rest of the bunch of people who watch YouTube and get us a little bit more exposure. So if you do watch the video, I would be very grateful for you to give it a give it a like. Only takes 1 second, but it makes a big difference. It really does. Okay, we got our Palomar knot tied on there. We'll cut our tag down here. So here's our setup so far: 2-aught, bullet weight, and bobber stopper. And then we're going to put one of these little baby finesse baits on here. These are cool little baits, man. They really work well. Alright. They have coffee scent in them too, so that's really killer. Alright, when I get my worm hooked up, I like to go all the way through the body. And I'll show you here in a second, all the way up through. Take a look right there. You can see that the hook's all the way through. And then what I like to do is I like to pull it back down into the top. It makes it really streamlined. But not only that, it makes it really weedless. So y'all guys can get a good look at that. Alright. Now, why I use the bobber stopper. Before I talk about the bobber stopper, if you have any pegs or anything like that, you can put a peg right here above this worm, in between that and the bullet weight. It just gives it a little click when you're using it, and it makes a little extra sound and adds a little color. Okay. Okay, bobber stopper. Now, back in the day, people would actually carry toothpicks around with them to put down in the tips of their weights in order to keep this bullet weight from sliding. Nowadays you can go to Bass Pro Shops and things like that and actually find some little pegs to put in there. But I've actually chosen to use a bobber stopper, and it just seems to be easier to me. So I take my bobber stopper and I pull it all the way down to my bullet weight, like so. Let me get that worm straightened out again. So now when you look at it, you can tell I got the bobber stopper there right on top of that bullet weight. And what that will do is when I'm fishing with it, it'll keep that bullet weight from sliding down the line. Because there are situations to where, let's take for instance, if you're fishing in like some heavy cover, let's say weeds and stuff like that, and you've got a heavy bullet weight on there, and you're wanting to get down in the bottom deep in those weeds. A lot of times what will happen is when you cast in there, your bullet weight will actually slide way up your line and go down there and separate from your worm. Your bullet weight will be down here, and your worm will be up here hung in the grass and whatnot. So if you put the bobber stopper or one of those pegs in there, what it does is when you drop it over in there, your actual bullet weight will stay connected with your worm, and they'll both go down together instead of separating, which will mess up the action of the bait altogether. So that was a question that I got from one of my subscribers, and I hope this answers his question. And like I said, I am a big fan of the Texas rig, and I think a lot of people, do fish it. And guys, please feel free to leave any comments, ask questions about other ways I fish things. I'm happy to take the time to sit down and make a little short video and explain to you how I fish. There's so many different ways to fish. There's so many fishermen, and you can get a lot from every fisherman, because every fisherman kind of does things, that tweaks things a little different than others. So even myself, I like to listen to a lot of fishermen, because there's a little bit from this fisherman, there's a little bit from that fisherman I'll take and kind of apply it to the way I fish. And it just helps me to become a better fisherman. So thanks for watching, guys. We will be coming out and doing some more videos soon. Again, please leave a comment down below. Please give this video a thumbs up. It means so much to us. And please take the time to subscribe to our channel. We're over 500 now, and we're looking forward to trying to meet that 1,000 subscriber threshold, which YouTube has set in order for YouTubers to be able to monetize their videos. So thanks again. And as always, God bless and happy fishing.